Good morning from my smartphone to yours. I'm Lovecasting live from the Serious Joy Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California. And this is your Wednesday Namaste Today. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. My name is Christopher Oteki. I'm your host, life coach, and my modality is psychic astrology. I'm here to stand in my heart and help other people in theirs. This webisode is for Wednesday, November 25th, 2015. And today, the Great Human Walk has progressed to Step 3, Sagittarius. Now, the cool thing about Step 3 is it is the same vibration as Sagittarius. So Step 3 Sagittarius is a purebred Sagittarius vibration. Therefore, anyone born in Sagittarius on a Step 3, so Step 3 Sag or 3 degree Sag, is a Grand Master Sagittarius. They have mastered this first realm. It's kind of like sitting in the home spot. Gives you a lot of ability or allows you to kind of master each situation. So happy birthday to the Grandmaster Sages out there. And we are actually going to have a fabulous holiday weekend here in the United States. So if you're in Europe and Asia, I'm sorry, or Canada. I know you had yours earlier. In Mexico, I don't know if you have a Thanksgiving. We should be thanking you, actually, I think, in lots of ways. But at the end of the day, thanks and loving gratitude to everyone in the world regardless. I will be off the air, actually, over the weekend, but I'm going to release a really cool interview I had with Master Astrologer Kelly Fox had in San Francisco over the summer. I was wanting to release it, but this whole fall, since Jupiter hit Virgo, I've been crazy busy. So I decided, you know what, this is going to be my Thanksgiving gift to my viewers. So her and I are just sitting totally, over the bay, sitting on the dock of the bay, literally I'm thinking of that song, and talking about astrology. It's kind of cool, and I'm so grateful for her, and I wish her happy Thanksgiving and gratitude to her too, if she's watching today. So hello, my friends. We're in Step 3 of Sagittarius, and we're working on what we believe, and I want to leave you with the holiday weekend with some things to think about when it comes to your beliefs. Our today's topic, I think, is something that I want you to take to the bank and think about, and it is be living is seeing. Be living is seeing. All right? So you've heard, of course, seeing is believing, and we talked about it yesterday. We talked about the proof in the pudding, and I was talking about how, when does one really believe? Is it believe once they're in the pudding, or once they actually taste the pudding, or do you believe before? Now, I believe that you must believe to get the pudding. I believe if you don't believe, you won't find the pudding. So we talk about how a scientist tries to stay clean about whether or not they believe so they can find proof. Well, I think only the scientists who believe find the proof. Okay? I think you must believe to find, even if you are reserving till the end to know. So if that's the architecture of incarnation, you must believe to find. Why aren't we just believing more often? Just going for it? Well, because we're afraid of being wrong, right? Or right, which is it? And how can one be wrong? That's the question, right? If you believe it. So, there's lots of examples of people who believed and refused to be wrong. Maybe no one is ever wrong. Maybe it's just that you're not in the right space, right time, right dimension, or you need more time and you run out of space. So I think the philosophy I like to teach is the way I think it unfolds in manifestation, which is what I call the law of light casting. What you be is what comes. What you be is what comes. That is the law of attraction as well. What you be is what comes. So being is what law of attracts. It doesn't matter kind of what you believe in so much, right? It's what you end up doing at the end of the day. Now, the thing is most people do what they believe because it's easiest to do what you believe, and it's really not easy to do what you don't believe. So it's hard to do something you don't believe, right? So that's why, seeing is believing, right? I don't know. But my idea here of be living is seeing is basically how I break down believe. Believing is something that you are willing to be and live. If you're willing to be it and live it, you believe it. Now, why is this important? Well, the truth is, a lot of people believe one thing, but then they get there and they can't be it and they can't live it. So that was belief without, they say, well, I was ignorant. Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. You didn't have the information. But you couldn't do it when it came down to it. You went up there and preached, but you couldn't do it. And that's certainly true with a lot of religions out there that would preach, but cannot be and live what they are putting out there, right? So I believe that whatever you put yourself into, one of the filters to think about over this weekend is, can I be and can I live this the rest of my life? And that little photo test there is really asking the heart if it's true, all right? Now, in my opinion, in the architecture of incarnation, if you want to manifest, let's say, a new job, let's say you want that job to be something really, different. Like, let's say right now you're an architect and you want to be a dolphin trainer. Okay. Well, I think you have to be a dolphin trainer and live as a dolphin trainer for several days in a row. Okay. In your heart for that to begin to manifest. And what happens when you be and live it? Be and live it. You begin to believe you are it. Right. So this weekend, the reason this all comes up, being and living, has to do with the fact that the sun will cross Saturn on Sunday. I won't be with you. And you'll be making a decision about what you want to be and what you want to live. Okay? And if you find that the world comes crashing in on you and says, you've got to do this and you've got to do that, or we've all got to bear arms because of this and we've all got to do that. If you can't be and live what they're saying you should do, then you don't believe it. If you can't be and live what someone tells you should do, then you don't believe it. If you don't believe it, you're not going to manifest the pudding. If you don't manifest the pudding, you're not going to get... I'm going with that. Pink Floyd. If you don't eat your pudding, you can't have any steak. What is it? What was it? Can't have any what? So, let me ask you the 5 o'clock question. Name a negative attitude you often adopt. Name a negative attitude you often adopt. What is the core belief of that negative attitude? Okay, so for myself, I'll answer this. Negative attitude I often adopt is, well, I'll give one in the past because I don't know if I have one so much at the top of my tongue right now. I haven't had enough meditation. But I used to, whenever I have to shoot, I used to get a negative attitude, like, like all that kind of thing, like kid one, like that sort of thing. You know exactly, right? So I used to do that. And that was a negative attitude because it just was negative. Chris was not going to, certainly not create the Sensei to serious joy. And I think you could tell that I was fighting that sometimes inside. What is the core belief behind that negative attitude that I had? The core belief was that I had to do that. And I realized, no, I don't have to. This is a choice. You're lucky. I changed my core belief. Okay? Now, the point of this exercise is to unveil that certain attitudes that we have go back to a certain belief. And vice versa. The attitude is the mind's web around the belief. So over the weekend, you might be invited to be getting rid of an attitude that's tied to a core belief, or you might be thinking about a belief that changes, and therefore the attitude must change. Both must go. And tonight, we have a full moon that's literally a tug-of-war between those two. In the next 24 hours, with this full moon as we go into Thanksgiving, everyone is going to have a tug-of-war between either an attitude or a belief. You may find that, when you're fighting with your family or fighting with yourself, that you're stuck in the attitude, which means you have to find the core belief. Or you might be like, oh, it's wrong that this happens. And if that's the case, you need to find the attitude. The attitude supports the belief supports the attitude. Both have to go. So it's kind of like if you're in negotiation for peace, it'd be like, hey, mister, the belief and that attitude have got to go. That whole web of thinking. We're getting rid of both of those. And if you find yourself in an argument in the next 24 hours or 36 hours with a family member or yourself, it is probably that a belief and attitude are ready to go. As we hit Sunday, by the end of this little holiday weekend, we're going to be deciding that an old belief attitude at large needs to go. And that probably means, because of the way beliefs are, as soon as you kill off one branch of your belief structure, you reveal another branch that is now more powerful with the other branch gone. So this is why, of course, religions get squashed and pharaohs' tombs get squashed and erased off of Egyptian walls, because if those beliefs are wiped out of the consciousness, the beliefs remaining are left quite strong. So that's a lot to think about, isn't it? I hope I was on track. I had some distractions here around me, but this is a good take, so I'm going to keep it. That's what I believe. And let's go in real quick with my guides and see if they have anything to say about this weekend and what to focus on. Give me 1 second to shift gears. Okay. So what comes up is that the moon is in Gemini, so it's harboring a lot of intellectual activity, and really what the guides are saying is to listen, to observe. We have a whole line of sevens. You guys ever see, like, in Vegas, where it's like 777 is lucky? We have Uranus at 16, which is a 7, Chiron at 16, which adds to a 7, Neptune, the ruler of 7, at 7 all weekend long. This 777 effect. And today, on the full moon, Wednesday, our Mercury is at 7 and Mars is at 7. So you might go, what the heck is going on? Well, 7 actually, when you have this much 7 going on, what it allows for is no action. It allows for no action. And as Master Yoda will teach you, sometimes no action is the best action, and in itself is an action, but not easy to do. If you are riding through a fire of people upset about this and people upset about that, which is kind of where the people who are just on the verge of discovery of their beliefs are in fire, how do you walk through that fire? How do you be who you want to be? You be peaceful, you observe, you stay in a no action. Okay? So the moon is in Gemini, really, for most of the weekend, moves into Cancer, so a lot of ideas are going to inflame people, get people inflamed. The full moon gets people inflamed. The full moon reveals attitudes. The full moon reveals beliefs. Now, when I say it's for us to remove an attitude and belief, I'm talking about the people who watch this show. Anyone who doesn't conscientiously want to, take advantage of the full moon will just have it highlighted, this behavior, and then the moon goes away and they do or don't do anything about it. People who are proactive spiritualists like myself are like taking advantage to trim our tree and move as brightly forward as possible. So the point is that what Spirit is saying is the wise will observe really through this weekend is what they're telling me. The wise will observe, and even in yourself. I mean, let's face it. What are we deciding? We're deciding if we believe or don't believe something. We're deciding what we believe in now versus what we didn't used to believe. We're in the core early entry belief degrees of Sagittarius. When we come back on Monday, my next show, by the way, is when I'll be back, we will be deciding what we believe and don't believe for good. So this whole, period is really just a philosophical debate. Therefore, says Spirit, observation. Take advantage of all those sevens, which basically all those sevens mean that the planet rests. They say in the seventh day God rests. Funny enough, when a planet's in step 7, it's at rest. It is basically receiving energy, and it is not, I think, emulating strong. So there is this ability to be at rest. The wise will take it and will observe, because truth will reveal itself, I think, by the week's end. And I mean the week is when we get back. One last thing I'll bring up here before I close this holiday weekend special. Pluto is at step 13, Capricorn, and the sun is heading for Capricorn after Sagittarius. So the way it works is that, right after we go through a philosophical debate, we make decisions in Capricorn. So we debate, we decide, right? Step 3, step 8. And so Pluto at step 13, which at the moment is direct, which means the story is moving forward, that 3 is the I believe. So what determines that death, what determines what's dying right now is the 3, is the belief. And we are killing certain rules that we can never go back. In some regards, people fear that, but honestly, it's a cornerstone, it's a turning point. Don't be afraid to change the rules, especially if the rules go against your beliefs. Don't break the law, okay? Be more clever than that, but don't be afraid to change your rules. All right, my friends, I am so grateful for you on this Thanksgiving, and I'm grateful for everyone else watching around the world. Come on down to soulgarden.tv and leave your mark, leave your wishes. I do read all the comments. It's something I feel that is part of my duty, and I also feel it's part of my duty to show up for you and shine light. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at stepº3. I'll see you back on Monday. Have fun soul searching, eat some good food, sleep, be with the ones you love, and remember, I love you, and live, love, be.